and welcome back. So you may have noticed slight change on the map, and that's because I made a mistake in the previous episode. It's as simple as switching your order of operations, but it's just something to keep in mind if you want to go the same exact path as I do, which is creating the Italian Empire under Dino Grandi. Now, the trick here is something that isn't well illustrated in the game, actually, and that's that when you take these decisions, sending the ultimatum to Yugoslavia, demanding Dalmatia, as well as the Albanian occupation, which is immediate on, it fires immediately upon completing the focus. All of those decisions move the council, move the balanced power, towards Mussolini. And we do not want that, because we can only just barely get to 0% or the under 1% that we need to convene the Grand Council. So you can hire a hierarch, but one of those decisions moves it about 10% in that direction. So it's a bit too risky, and it's just easier to go ahead and convene the Grand Council. So we've reloaded slightly. We're going to do that. If you were going with Mussolini, it doesn't matter anyway. But just something to keep in mind. And just apologies to anyone who was confused about that. Yeah, you just want to make sure you convene the Grand Council and do that before you take any of these decisions. It's just so you don't get locked out of these decisions. So yeah. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of speed through this. We will go ahead and now take the decisions here. Slander the Duce, criticize the war effort, and question the loyalty of the three branches. Be very careful not to click any of these other ones, as they will, depending on how many you take, effectively lock you out of taking this decision. So we're just going to do this real quick. Lower our stability and give us some political power, but importantly, it'll allow us to start moving down this path. We're just going to hold off on these decisions for a little bit longer and just give ourselves a little bit of breathing room. Let's just take care of a few other things here. Once a few more of these trained up, I'll make a separate training fleet. But yeah, I think they should definitely make that a little bit more obvious. If you come in here and you look at the balance of power, obviously it shows for all of these, but it doesn't highlight at all for any of these. It doesn't say in the tooltip. And when you fire the decision and take the actual sort of message box that appears, it doesn't show there either. It just kind of happens. So they probably programmed that and forgot to kind of include a tooltip. So that's kind of why I was confused, because I actually pre-recorded this episode and I was moving along with the war with Hungary and a couple of these other things. I was like, why can I not take the decision? And that's why. I thought it was actually the missions, but apparently not. Now, the only other thing to consider is we did previous episode, but you do want to potentially finish the industrialization program. So we're going to wait for that before we take these decisions, or before we depose Mussolini. Obviously, if you get rid of Mussolini, you interrupt his mission. So all we're going to do is, in the meantime, in a kind of between focuses, we're going to come down here and start working towards this research slot. We're kind of behind research as it is, so I just want to start working in that direction as quickly as possible. In the meantime, we could potentially, I'm keeping an eye on this as well. I'm slightly worried about France or the UK potentially guaranteeing Hungary. It's a possibility. It doesn't always happen. We're going to pick up sonar, by the way. It doesn't always happen, but it may happen for you. We started just fine early enough, and it's only 21% now, but after a certain point, Hungary may start to pick up some guarantees. So you just got to be aware of that and realize, ironically, way of putting it, but Hungary isn't a guarantee. It's not a sure thing that you'd be able to get Hungary. So just kind of realize that. And we did get the strengthened heavy industry. So we're going to pick up this focus. As much as I'd like to rush towards the research slot, we're going to start. We're going to get Dino Grandi in power, and then we're going to just do a few of our foreign power decisions. We're sitting on quite a bit of political power, so I think what we'll do is pick up the extensive conscription, pick up the army morale expert, and the we'll wait. We'll hold out for the air reformer. So yeah, at this point, we will come over here and depose Mussolini. Because we can, and want to get that out of the way so he doesn't stick around longer than we want him to. Let's go ahead and pick up the improved machine tools, and now that we've successfully completed the industrialization program, let's start trading for some of these resources again. Just with whoever, really. I'm not too concerned. Again, just holding off on those decisions a little bit till we're ready. I wouldn't normally do this. Well, actually, I would normally do this. I wouldn't recommend it. But I like to rush medium tank tech about a little under half a year at a time. Use our Fiat MIO, which has some really nice bonuses. I did notice in the new update that Italy as a whole has a whole ton of great MIOs, and it's been so fun to play around with them. So yeah, we'll depose Mussolini here, and we could leave it as is now. But I think I want to go ahead, and it's a 35-day focus. Let's go ahead and get Dino Grandi. War in China has begun. Let's just take a quick look at that. I did notice for a long time in a few of the previous updates that Japan was pretty strong. And yeah, unfortunately, something has happened here where France has actually guaranteed Hungary. So, we could try to improve relations with Hungary. Not Hungary, France. Maybe get a non-aggression pact. But unfortunately, eventually the UK would guarantee Hungary as well. So we're kind of locked out of bringing in Hungary. And that's not a big deal. If you look at their resources, they've got some oil, which we would have liked to have, and some aluminum. We're okay on aluminum, and we're okay-ish on steel. The oil was really the only thing there that we would have really wanted, and also just for the map, just because it's fun. But yeah, it happens, and you just got to see what happens for you. In my test playthrough, same exact timing, I was able to bring them in. It's just a matter of guarantees. It's a bit random RNG, and that's HOI4, so you may be able to do it in your playthrough. And of course, it's somewhat correlated with how quickly you take out Austria. If you start justifying maybe a little earlier, like as soon as you finish the war goal in Austria, justifying it rather, then you might find you have a bit more success and you're able to get it a bit earlier. So, but not too worried. We have other matters to attend to. I was thinking of getting the Sonar 2, just so we could finish some of this tech that we need. I think I am going to do that. Use our escort fleet 1. Let's pick up the defense bonus for the infantry equipment. Yeah, now they're guaranteed by the UK, so we're essentially not going to be fighting this war. It's just a bit too much of what we're ready to take on for now. You can pick up non-aggression pacts down here, but we do need both of them now. By the way, quick little note on this. If you do want to rush this in your playthrough, keep in mind you need 1 million manpower in the field to proclaim the Italian Empire. And you also need a non-aggression pact. So if you take these too early, and then you're like, oh, I need 1 million manpower in the field, you might be like kind of short on time when you realize that the non-aggression pact will drop far before you're able to get the 1 million manpower. So I would really just recommend picking up. You could get this early, But I would recommend before you take this, you should have close to, if not, 1 million manpower in the field. But we have our new leader. We have Dino Grandi, much improved from Mussolini, and we have the new balance of power. The difference between him and Mussolini is he gives a bonus to construction speed, it reduces equipment conversion speed, but has at the highest level as a negative aspect towards the training time there. So just something to keep in mind. He has some really good trees. As the main one that we're interested in eventually getting is expanded corporatism here before we move into our Greater Italy, or you could also go the Mare Nostrum and reform the Roman Empire. We're going to be going this route in this playthrough, just because it's, in my eyes, a little bit more realistic for an Italian empire, where we're trying to make something that's great, but also a bit more of a new concept than looking to the past. But I respect it. Roman Empire is fun. But now we can go ahead and knock this one out and take Dalmatia. So they should back down, all according to plan. Let's go ahead and send that ultimatum. And yeah, they usually fall pretty quick here. You could send military support here as well, get a little opinion boost with some of the neighboring additional other fascist powers, and you'll see you can do that for any fascist power that's at war. I think I'd really like to get radio detection, and we have had some fighters and naval bombers building for a little while, so let's at least bring the naval bombers out here and set them to start training over the Tyrrhenian Sea. Let's also put these in their own training fleet now. Any that aren't fully trained, we just want to bring over. And this is just going to help us save on some fuel, because notice most of these are done training. And unlike before, we aren't in desperate need of naval experience. We can also go and get the air reformer. Now, eventually, you do get an event where some of your air leaders, military advisors, do get killed in a training accident, which is based on a historical event that happened. You have to just pick up a single focus to prevent that from happening, and we may get to it, we may not, but you'll see it reduces the chances of suffering historical aircraft accidents, killing characters. So just something to consider. Let's go ahead and design a new destroyer. So we're just going to use that button there. Pick up the hydrophones, torpedo launchers. We'll use the historical destroyer names, and we'll call this the, I believe it's the Italian word for hunter, cacciatore. I believe that's it. 2A, so model and the version, and these are just going to be our sub hunters. So we'll call them that, and we'll give them a little crab symbol. And these are what are going to help us fight against the Kriegsmarine later on in the game. And we actually want to have these go to our training fleet specifically, so that we can have them immediately start training as soon as they're deployed, and we'll have those train. And that's going to help us on our oil a little bit, and you can see we're actually in the positive now, which is really great. And unfortunately, we did let that war goal expire, missing our opportunity on Hungary, and Dino Grandi has been criticized for foreign policy. It is what it is. It's only a slight penalty. No big deal. But it's kind of ironic, considering historically Hungary is a fascist power, but is what it is. Now we can pick up where we were going to be leaving off on the last episode and go Italy first. And I'm just seeing if we want, you don't want to get service by requirement. That's going to increase that training time. I think we want to start training some new troops. We want to proclaim the Italian Empire relatively soon, so getting a full army trained up would be nice. So let's do that. And
Sì, signore.
actually want to set those guys to train as well.
Formazione.
These guys look good. As for where to put our army, well, we're not really worried about any of these powers right now. Eventually, Hungary and Romania will be a concern.
Pronto, signore.
I would move them over here, but supply is a bit of an issue, I believe. For now, we can station these troops with the border on France. Later on, Africa is going to be a concern,
Pronto, signore.
but I think what we'll do is we'll just have our army come down here to the coast. Sit there for now. These guys can come over here on the border with Germany.
Formazione.
And those guys are staying in Ethiopia. So Albania yields, and we can build a little more. So let's queue up that, and it's still 37, but I think after these are finished, we're going to start queuing up some mills and dockyards. Usually by 1938, I stop building mills, no civs, and start building mills, rather, as well as dockyards. We do have low duce authority, so we're getting some bonuses. I think we will actually go ahead and bump that up a little bit. And we're going to do that by sending some military support to Spain and Japan. Well, the advantage of not being a war is we could send some volunteers to here. And I think we will do that. It might be kind of a bit of a Johnny-come-lately situation here, sending these to Spain, but well, you know, better late than never. Let's send those guys in. One thing you do is once you have 2 or more volunteers, you can take this. So we will try and pick that up. I believe that would be smart. We actually might, depending on how much progress we have with this, we may go ahead and rush that. Yeah, we only have 2-3 days on that, so let's switch over to this and get this ahead of time. That'll just give them a little bonus as well as increase their opinion of us later when we demand the Balearics, which are going to be useful against Britain. Let's pick up, so this is for our support equipment. We could pick up the production resource need. I think we will do that just because there's no penalties there. And that should just make it a little bit cheaper to make. I don't know if you need to add it like this. Yeah, you do. Alright, we'll do that. We're actually going to do that with our spare XP for a lot of these. Just so that a few of them are getting that bonus. And we have a lot of military XP, so may as well. We do have some air XP, so I'd like to design some new close air support. And we'll add the cast designer and the level 2 engine. I think I had a name for these. Yeah, I think we'll call these the, kind of continue with the theme, we'll call them the Tormenta, because they will be tormenting the enemy troops on the ground, and I like that. Let's see if we can find a model for this one. I suppose that's similar, most similar to this one, I guess. So we'll do that for our close air support. We'll start building those. Looks pretty good to me. Let's put one on there. Yeah, I like that. Just continue building these out. And we are starting to build the destroyers now. And once this completes, we will want to think about a new design for our battleships. Or cruisers. We'll see. So we got these guys in. We are working on this focus. Should be in time. I say we come down here and help close this salient out. We should have sent air volunteers, but that's okay. We did get the event where Portugal seeks to buy Italian ships. No reason not to do this. Just gives you a free off-map civ. Highly recommend doing that. And we're just letting the game run. No big deal. Could pick up a theorist. Maybe we do that. Just thinking. Could pick up one of these guys. Only really useful in war. They changed it so that these guys don't even give XP anymore. So now they're not at peace, so we can't demand the Balearics yet. We could go with Italian first, Italy first. We might do that. Eventually, Bulgaria will seek to join the Axis. But I don't know. We could rush down here to get the colonial police in Albania, as well as get Albanian oil. This would all help with our oil situation. Not the most pressing, but I think we are going to come over here and rush towards this research slot. That is clearly the most important thing at the moment. Let's also remember to root out resistance in these regions, get that compliance up as quickly as possible. Could get excavation tech, could get oil tech. I wouldn't be opposed to this. Maybe once we get the research slot, but I think we're going to notice it's only about 0.17 years at a time. That's barely any, so at this point I would highly recommend getting the computing machine. Could pick up these. I think we'll eventually want to swap over to superior firepower for our doctrines, but not just yet. Could pick up the passives. I think we're gonna just get the smoke generators. Real quick tech, so just knock that out. In terms of theorists, the only one here, we aren't planning on using Grand Battle Plan. I think out of all of those, the only one I could see myself using is the Grand Fleet. So, pretty good actually starting battleship design here. Let's add the battle line builder. No sonar. Just click the upgrade button and see what we're working with here. I don't normally add float planes to a battleship. Secondary battery is usually pretty good. Got the... Could get better armor, but this is a good starting point. I think we'll just call this the Corazzata. I think it is. Yeah, the Corazzata, we'll call it the 2A. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Let's add that and start building that. Cruisers next would be important. Yeah, we might want to do that. Might want to go ahead and design it because we have the XP. Let's see. This is going to be our support cruiser, so light cruiser essentially. And for that, we just want to do the Incrociator, I think is the word. And could add the sonar. Normally you want radar, so we're not going to do that for the production cost. Torpedoes, not bad on a cruiser. These are normally the backbone of a kind of escort fleet as well as screens. Got the cruiser armor 3 actually. But yeah, I think we'll leave it with that. This is not a capital ship. This is just a light cruiser. So these are going to be supporting our mainline ships. Give the escort fleets. And let's just make sure we're building this. We'll pull off of our cheaper ships to make sure we are building those. Yeah, we want 3 on the destroyers and 2 on the subs. Subs are cheap. So, with that, I do also want to check we are deploying some of our new planes. What are these? Fighter wings. Let's just let's get rid of these and just kind of assess what we have. Yeah, we want these because they're good. Yeah. Some of these we may sell. I mean, I'm not really interested in keeping interwar planes. I'd really only like to keep the really good ones. Yes, they add to your numbers in the sky, they help you get air superiority, but I think we're going to make the first use of the international market and actually just sell some of these old planes and boost our industrial capacity. What we'll do is we'll set them to high, and we'll just come over here, and I think you can set it to auto accept purchase request. I don't really care who gets these old cruddy planes. I say let them have it. We could do this. I've been playing around with the Rangers a lot in the new update. They are super good, especially once you get down to here. Absolutely insane bonuses to soft attack. But I think we're going to switch over to superior firepower. We're going to do that first, and then with some of our XP in the future, we'll take a look at potentially getting the Special Forces Doctrine Tech. And yeah, let's see. We are slowly training more troops, but let's actually deploy these and start working on a new line. It's more important to me that we get them in the field. Let's take these, put them here. Take the Mountaineers, put them in their own army. Let's switch this guy out. Let's just do this guy. Then put the Mountaineer charge there. As for him, I don't know, start a new army. Just trying to kind of grow our numbers here. Let's make a larger battle plan under this field marshal as well. Just bring it along the coast here. And we'll still keep them over here. Since it's the mountains, leave them there. And this is our escort fleets. This is for our screens. We could select this to go and add it, but let's see, that would be for both our cruisers and our destroyers. What we'll do is we will do that. We're going to immediately swap our cruiser since we just started building it, but we'll build one more of those destroyers. That looks pretty good. Start doing this as soon as that's completed. Excellent. Okay, let's go ahead and finish up this focus. And I think I set these guys to, we gotta set them to attack. Close up this pocket a little bit quicker. And doing pretty good, just some extra army XP. And we could spend some of our extra political power to move the balance of power in our direction. I think we are going to do that. Getting that construction speed is pretty helpful the earlier we get it. I'm also seeing we are definitely short on infantry equipment. We're making a good amount, but it could be better. But honestly, I think what I want to do is use some of that extra capacity to build a tactical bomber. I think we have, yeah, basic medium airframe. We start with it, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll use the, just a couple of good choices here. Surface detection, ground attack, max speed, minus 10% naval attack. Well, since we are air defense and air attack, this could be good as well. We're not using it as like a close air support though, so ground attack and surface detection we're not using as naval bomber either, so I think we're gonna go with the range focus aircraft designer, since the goal of this plane is to be a tactical bomber, so range is gonna be helpful. I like this look. I suppose we'll keep that. We could use, I suppose it doesn't really matter. Maybe we'll use this. I kind of like that. And we'll do that one. That's pretty close. We could add some air defense turrets. Other options are those radio navigation bomb sites. I think we'll add the radio navigation. Yeah, and we're gonna call this the we'll call it the Vesuvio, after Mount Vesuvius, and we will be replicating that destruction on our enemies. So let's do that. Looks pretty good. And after this focuses finish, I think we'll end the episode there. But, oh, okay, so they took them out. But yeah, hopefully anyone who was confused by the end of the last episode, hopefully this helps them, whether you're going with Dino Grandi, whether you're going with Mussolini. Hopefully this clarifies a few things, and again, I apologize for the mistake, but it happens. And I just realized what happened here. Let's take this army and put them here, and then take this one, and then do that. So we're a little bit more clear. Oh, okay, so this guy isn't the mountaineer. I was confused these two. Let's swap him and then add this guy over there, put him in the front. Got those troops. Let's give this guy a commander. Use... Oh, he's in the Spanish Volunteer Force. Okay, let's put him in. And we'll assign this army here and this one here. Okay, looks pretty good. Can't take any more decisions here. They're all on cooldown. As for this tech, I think we will pick up the fuel refining tech. Yeah. Our forces have returned. Italian Yugoslavia requests sale of airplanes. We can divert these. It's pretty nice, minus 50%. Consumer goods factories factor. I tend to go for this. I think even though we just made them, I think the bombers are less valuable. You send, oh, you only, okay, you send 25 tactical bombers. Okay, this increases production costs, but you actually just send 25 old ones, which we do have several old ones. So we'll just do that. We're going to start on this research slot, but we are going to end the episode there. Thanks for watching. Hope this video helped clarify a few things, and see you in the next one.